Discover the power of transformation with Coach B. Wright Jones. It's time to find your path and embrace your purpose. From uncertainty to a life filled with purpose and direction. With guidance, rediscover your vision and passion. Join a community that uplifts, inspires, and empowers. Dive into curated courses and books that transform. Connect with Coach B. Wright Jones and step into your new destiny.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast show may not be those of the host or management. Welcome to Get Unstuck and Sexy podcast show with your host, B. Wright Jones. Sexy is the acronym for self-confidence, excitement, extra, and yes, I can. This podcast show will bring you encouragement, inspiration, and hope. Know that it's time to walk in your purpose with clarity, confidence, and power. Get Unstuck and Sexy podcast show is being brought to you by Keep Looking Up with B. Wright Jones, LLC. Hey, this is Coach B, and I am the host of Get Unstuck and Sexy podcast show. I purchased a pair of Care shoes, and they have changed my life. If you suffer from swollen feet or ankles and you would like to enjoy comfort and style again, then this offer is for you. Go to cares.biz and use the discount code GetUnstuckAndSexy to receive a $50 discount on your next purchase. You can thank me later. Have an amazing day and keep looking up. Hello, everyone. And again, welcome to Get Unstuck and Sexy podcast show with me, your host, Coach B. Sexy is the acronym for self-confidence, excitement, extra, and yes, I can. I'm always excited to be here. And again, we are coming with a part 2 on today. You met Sandhya last week. We are back this week. Hey, Sandhya. We are back this week with part 2, and we're going to be talking about healthy meal planning in a way that makes it fun, and also how adding elements of gamification to healthy eating can make it effortless. So this is some good stuff, guys. So get out your notepads, take your notes, and just dig into this good stuff that we're about to get into. So Sandhya, what's happening?
Oh, not much. I'm so excited. I loved it. I love talking about this.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm just excited about you being here. I love you, just bubbly, and you have so much knowledge, and this is going to help so many people. So again, thank you for being a guest on the show. This is amazing. So we're gonna jump right into it. Sandhya, you gotta help us out. I'm gonna tell you something. Healthy meal planning can sometimes be a drag. I'm being transparent. I mean, it takes effort, it takes time, it takes coordination. You got to get your planning together. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it can be tiring. You don't feel like it. You want to just grab something quick. But it takes consistency, it takes that effort that you need to put into it if you want to stick to it and you want to have success. But how can you make healthy meal planning fun?
There,
How? Help us out.
so I
Help
actually
us.
agree with you. It is a very boring concept. However, there are so many ways to make it fun. And I think the first thing to do is a lot of people, when they think of healthy eating, they think of foods and they kind of groan inside, like, oh, I really don't want to eat that. Like, and especially
Mhm.
around things like salad,
Yeah.
anything where you kind of attach the word healthy. You know what that I'm talking about. That mental
Yes.
cringe where you're like, oh, fine, I'll be healthy if I have to.
That's the truth. Oh my gosh. It's sometimes because I'm one, there's certain things I just don't even want to see on my plate. Don't give me no Brussels sprouts. I'm picky about asparagus. It has to be cooked a certain way. But yeah, I mean, healthy, you need the greens, you need the fiber, you
It's
need those
very true.
things. Yes, you need those things. So what can we do to like change it up or switch it up or make it fun? Because
Okay.
yeah.
Now, oh,
Oh,
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no,
Number
you're
one,
fine.
choose
Yeah.
foods that you enjoy. I love that you brought up Brussels sprouts and
Ooh,
asparagus because if you don't like it, the
yeah.
chances of you sticking to something are so slim.
Yeah.
And that was the pun not intended there, but 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 if you choose foods that you like,
Yeah.
then if you and you're trying to include them in your healthy eating journey, you are
Yeah.
going to stick to it really well because it's not it does you take away that cringe factor.
Yeah.
So the first tip that makes it fun is get excited about the food you're going to eat by choosing things you actually enjoy. I'll give you an example. I am obsessed with peaches. Like they are my favorite
Oh,
fruit. Absolutely.
yeah.
Like if peaches are in season, that's don't even offer me another fruit. I'm going to be eating that. And I
Yes.
do go overboard, but I don't see that as a bad thing because in my mind, peaches are giving me a lot of nutrients. They're giving me,
Yes.
a lot of hydration, fiber, vitamin
Yes.
C, all of those things. So
Yes.
eating a lot of that is not going to put me off my journey.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's good.
when peaches are in season, I include them in everything. I include them in if I make desserts, I
Yeah.
put peaches in. If I make salads, I put peaches in. Sometimes I literally just cut up a peach and just eat it with whatever protein I'm eating.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that to me just makes me really excited. So what you have to do is find a food or a group of foods that get
Yeah.
you excited and start
Right.
off there. So
Okay.
don't start off with the traditional things that you
Ooh,
might when if it gives you a cringe factor, my rule is don't start with that. Start with
okay.
something else that really it can be the same thing every single day, but the
Okay.
idea is to start adding in healthy recipes to your repertoire
Yeah.
and that can just be the biggest push because if you're excited about what you're eating, you're going to
Yeah.
eat it more and more. And the
Yeah.
more and more you try a recipe,
Yeah.
you're going to get better at it. You're going to get faster at it. You're going to need less effort to require, like, to go shopping for it, to
Yeah.
prepare it. All of that stuff becomes
That's
just
true.
really effortless. So
That's
that's the
true.
first step. Like, if you can choose foods that you enjoy and just incorporate them somehow. Let me just be
Yes.
really clear. If you enjoy like very like a lot of convenience foods and ultra processed foods, instead of going
Mm,
for those and adding them in, because I would never recommend that as a first step. That's more of a
right.
later stage thing.
Yeah.
Try and break it down and figure out exactly what ingredients or what is causing you to really like that and just try and
Okay.
add that ingredient into your meal because
Okay.
it's really as simple as just starting with the smallest action you can. If
Okay.
you like pickles on your burger, add
Yeah.
pickles in somehow some other way into, for
Okay.
example, a salad. You can add them pickles
Okay.
is a hard one. I chose a hard ingredient actually. Oh, I do actually really like them in like
Yeah.
tacos. Tacos are quite
Oh.
yeah, tacos are
Okay.
really nice with pickles because they just give that little tang as well.
Oh.
Taco chicken and pickles go really, really well together. So there's a lot of ways that you can add a particular ingredient into another meal that makes it a lot more nutritious. So that's my absolute first tip.
And I totally agree with that because, like, for instance, I love spinach. So I find myself at times adding spinach in my eggs and like in an omelet in my eggs. If I make like a little, I'll use the zero net carbs, the mission little keto tortillas, what I think tortillas, whatever. But I'll make the little healthy pizzas and I'll add spinach on there. And I like that. So I totally agree with that, to find the things that you love, add it more into your meals. So I find myself a lot of times adding in spinach, a lot of times oranges. I love oranges. I find myself adding that like into sometimes I'll add it like into my water or different things. I'll make like a salad and I'll cut up my orange. I'll put an orange in there. So that's true. It does help. And I do try to focus a lot on the things more that I love. Because I find myself certain things I know I don't really like, I shy away from. It just doesn't make eating fun. And it can have a negative effect too. If you continue to try to push yourself sometimes, eating things you know you don't like. So I love that you brought up the fact to incorporate more of those things that you love, into your meals. That's so important. Um, you don't have to feel like, you got to have this, they say you got to have this and this is going to do that. No, find what works for you, what you like, and make that work. So thank you for sharing that. Yes, continue, please.
Yeah,
Thank.
the second thing is I like to call this like building up your recipe resume.
Okay.
So when you write a resume, you want to include all of your skills. But when you start out in the job field, your resume is pretty bare, right? Like you have maybe like I went to school here, I maybe
Yeah.
did some work placement, but as you keep going throughout your career, your
Hmm.
resume starts building up. I like to
Yes.
think of cooking and healthy meal planning the exact same way. When you
Okay.
start out, your resume may look like I can make toast. And I've heard that a lot. I can't cook except making toast. Or like 2-minute noodles. For us, that's a big thing here. Like everyone makes 2-minute noodles when they're a kid. But then as you get older,
Yeah.
your recipe resume starts to build and build. And if you're just starting out in a healthy eating journey, it still might look like that high school resume. But that's
Okay.
okay. Everyone starts somewhere, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
again, choose a recipe that you enjoy and then start there. Experiment with different recipes, see
Okay.
what works for you. You'll also find that different recipes have different ingredients. You might find that one recipe has ingredients you already have in your pantry. So it
Yes.
takes away from that idea of having to go out to the shops, which can be really overwhelming to someone, and buy all of these ingredients that you may never use again. For me, like
Okay.
me personally, I hate doing that because I need like 1 tablespoon of something and then I have to buy
Yeah.
a whole jar.
It's
And
wasteful. Yeah. Yep.
exactly. And then
Hmm.
you're just kind of like, oh my God, now I have this in my pantry. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I should really make that thing again.
Yeah.
So start small and
Okay.
experiment with different recipes and find one that works for you. And what will happen is when you go to the grocery store, instead of it being a really overwhelming experience, because you have a
Hmm.
list of ingredients and you
Yeah.
go straight to those aisles, you'll actually
Hmm.
start exploring around that area as well. And because it's a recipe you already like, it's something that you're going to use again, most likely.
Yeah.
And it has ingredients that make up something you like. You're going to start exploring and reading the things that are around it. And so
Yeah.
your healthy, like, repertoire of ingredients starts to increase.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when it goes like when you come to the next recipe that you want to try, and that could be like a few weeks down the track, it could be a month down the track. Once you've like fully experimented with one recipe, you can move on to the next one. It could be a
Okay.
couple of days if you like cooking, like it's different for everyone, right? But when you
Yeah.
come to the next recipe, you might be a little bit more familiar with how it's going to turn out. You also
Right.
might be more familiar with the ingredients and where they're placed in the grocery store, and that takes away a lot of the overwhelm.
That's
So
true.
I'll be honest, like when we cook in our household, we buy ingredients every single day. And at first, that was so overwhelming because I loved going grocery shopping for a week, but we'd ended up with a lot of food wastage. And that was really stressful because no one really wants to sit there and throw things out of their fridge,
Yeah.
especially when you consider like you could have used that in some way.
Yeah.
And so, what we ended up doing to reduce food wastage and to make sure that we had all the ingredients on hand, we just shopped every day. We're
Okay.
lucky we live close to a grocery store, and I know
Yeah.
that's not the case for everyone, but
Right.
if it is an option, grocery shopping every day is great because you're not buying ingredients you don't want, which takes away a
Yeah.
lot of the overwhelm and stress of like, oh my gosh, my fridge is full, my pantry is full, I need to use all these ingredients. And a
Yeah.
lot of times that overwhelm can lead to stress and anxiety and procrastination.
Yep.
So that's something we want to avoid.
Okay.
Um, so if you shop every day, and then secondly, like I said, you start becoming really familiar with the sections of the grocery store that have the ingredients that you want. And then you can slowly start exploring. Like maybe your next recipe has a new ingredient and
Yeah.
you get to go down that aisle. And I like to see it as an adventure. I'm like, oh, but then I'm a little bit weird because I do actually really love grocery shopping. I'm like, oh, I get to explore what's in that aisle today.
Okay.
Like, what's the new thing? So you can start seeing it as
Yes.
like a little adventure, and it becomes
Yes.
more of a fun activity associated with your cooking rather than a chore or overwhelming
Hmm.
or stressful. And I think that's a big part of taking away that stress is really just taking it slow and just focusing on one thing rather than trying to go from 0 to 100 of like,
Yeah,
having your recipe resume with like 5 different meals. And you know what? I've been
exactly.
there because I
Yeah.
used to try meal planning for a week and I can see, yeah, you've
Yep.
obviously been there too.
Yep. Sure have. Yes. Oh my gosh. But that makes so much sense. Everything that you're saying. And it takes that overwhelm away. You're right. It can be overwhelming. So that was some really good tips and good information. Thank you so much for sharing on that. Did I cut you off? Did you want to share more on that?
I just want to add one more tip that's really, really great is just celebrate your wins. I think people, and I think I did touch on this last week as well, everyone
Yes.
misses this step. Like, if you make a recipe and that is your first ever recipe that's in your repertoire and on your resume, celebrate that because
Yeah.
and people do that in different ways, like creating a recipe book or
Yeah.
just knowing that you can make something that is going to nourish your body,
Yeah.
is going to give you everything you need and you actually enjoy it, celebrate that. Like it's so
Right.
important.
Yes.
If you're just, going through the routine, sometimes it can feel
Mm.
like a real slog. So if you stop
Yep.
and just celebrate, like, hey, I made this. And a great way to do this, and I think this is a really common one right now, is take a photo of it. Like take a photo of it and post it somewhere, or even just keep it in your
Yes.
own little, gallery there. And
Yes.
you can look back and be like, anytime you're feeling down, you can look back and be like, I made that. Like, that was me. That was all
Yes.
me, and I actually enjoyed it, and as you start
Yes.
building that up, you start having so
Yes.
much more to celebrate, and you just feel, like, a lot of confidence in yourself. That's how
Right.
self-confidence builds, right? So repetition,
Yes.
consistency. So,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's a big one.
That's good. I appreciate that. And I do that. I take photo stuff, certain little dishes that I'll make. I take a photo of it. I'll put it on Facebook. I'll share it with other people. And it makes you feel good. And you're like, wow, I did that. And the thing about it, you take the time to research and you find those things that you like and you never did it before and it's something new. And when you do it, you feel good. So I totally agree. I do it myself. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, you hear this good stuff? Make sure you taking notes. Make sure you taking notes. So now we're into the healthy meal planning, and we found ways that we can make it enjoyable. Now we're ready to start dropping pounds. We're ready to see a difference in our clothes, how our clothes fit, and see a difference in the mirror, and just feel a difference in our body. But how can we stay excited about that and keep it going? And then that's where the gamification comes in, adding that to the element to, different challenges and different things. What are some different ideas that you have on that, that can make it also fun and that will boost up your efforts and help you to want to stay motivated? Can you share?
Yeah, absolutely. So, firstly, if you figure out what makes things fun for you, that can be a game changer because once you know what makes things fun for you can start adding elements of that into anything you do. And I like to quote Mary Poppins here because, oh my God, I love that movie so much. But she basically says in every job that must be done, there is an
Yes.
element of fun. If you find the fun, then snap, the job becomes a game. And
Wow.
that to me is like that's like my, mantra for life.
I
So
love that. Yes. Yes, indeed. Wow. Thank you for
yes.
sharing that. So do that thing that's fun, that you love to do, and whatever that thing may be, um, incorporate it in, and it can boost up your efforts. It can help you, motivate you more, inspire you more. So yes, I totally get that. That is so true. Please
Yeah.
continue. I'm sorry. Yes.
I have a quiz on how to find your fun style and actually what is your fun style as well on my website. So that's a really good one. If you're not really sure where to start on that, you get like a full report on how exactly you can add in fun styles to your healthy eating goals. So that's a really good one, and it'll give you like some kickstarting ideas as well.
Yes.
And there are a lot of different ones. So depending on what game you like,
Yeah.
some people like to feel a sense of accomplishment. So in that sort of sense, we can like you create like a badge system, and it's not hard to do. You create it in your own way. Everyone has different levels, and then you just once you hit your level, so for example, one of mine is if I have like 20 days consistently eating healthy with very little, I think it's like 20%. I give myself 20% leeway
Okay.
of like meals that aren't on my normal plan.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
Then I get the consistency badge, and it can be the same badge over and over again, but that feeling of accomplishment really makes me feel good and pushes me and motivates me to move forward on that
Yeah.
and keep
Yeah.
going. So that's a really good one. The other one that's really powerful is adding an extra person into your journey. So if you can find a way to connect your purpose and see how it affects someone else, and kids particularly are a really good one in this sense.
Yeah.
That really pushes you because you're not no longer just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the greater good. It's
Yes.
empowering other people as well. So that's a really good
Yes.
one as well. If you like the quick, easy games, sometimes
Yeah.
just adding things like a spinning wheel, with your little like with your goal, you create like a spinning
Okay.
wheel. There's apps for it, and
Okay.
you can just click the spinning wheel and it gives you a different goal to go for every day. That's so something as
Oh,
simple as that can just make it super fun and just be like,
yes.
okay, give that level of unpredictability so you're not actually just doing the same thing over and over again, because that can be
Yeah.
really difficult for some people. Some people do not like routine, and some
Yeah.
people, even though they do like routine, still crave that bit of excitement. So
Yeah.
that kind of helps really well when you're doing a healthy eating journey, because again, it's not something that's always interesting. And so
Right.
we really want to add those elements that make it really exciting and fun, because like a
Yes.
game, you want to go back and play it more and more. With
That's right.
something like healthy eating, where you are very tempted all the time to be like, oh, I'll just take a break today. You really want to make it like, okay, no, I actually wanted to keep doing
That's
it.
right.
And
That's right.
as you start seeing results and wins, you want to do it more and more. And so that's where consistency and making it fun in that beginning stage makes it so easy later, because
Yeah.
once you start winning, you just want to
Yes.
play it every single day, you know? So yeah.
Yes. And they keep winning. That's so true. Yes. So thank you for that. So, because I know, like back in the day when I was younger, and I was always competitive with things. So I know I had some friends, and we all wanted to get healthier, and we kind of like put so much money in a pot, right? And at the end, we all had to weigh in. And at the end, we had a certain amount of time, and whoever lost the most weight won all the money in the pot, which was fun. It was fun. It was competitive, but that competitiveness kind of motivated you to like, okay, I want to do this. I'm not gonna let them beat me. I'm gonna do this. But it was fun. And it worked for me at that time. And I know they have this app out there. I think I've heard of it, like Healthy Wager or something too, where it's like people you don't even know. These people, you say how much you want to lose, you put this money in. I don't know how they have it set up, but you have to weigh yourself, and it's like a challenge, you to lose so much weight, and you can win. I mean, I saw some people win like thousands of dollars with this
Yeah.
Healthy Wager app. So whatever works for you, to make it fun. If you're competitive, you may want to do it with a friend or a group of people. So yeah, this is all good stuff, all good stuff. Thank you so much for us. Do you got any more tips for us today? Because you've been doing it. Yes.
The second one I have is something that people don't consider a lot, but don't set
Yeah.
a 100% win rate. So when
Yeah.
you're playing a game, you don't expect to win every single time unless you're like a champion like gamer, you know? You want to win around 80% of the time to make it fun. So when when you're looking at a healthy eating journey, set that same goal. You want an 80% win rate, and you give yourself 20% leeway for those days where you have like a special event, or you're
Yeah.
not feeling great, or you just have come across something you really want to try. If
Yeah.
you give yourself that 20% leeway, when you have that and you tell yourself, I'm in my 20%, I'm
Yeah.
not aiming to win right now. I'm aiming to like enjoy myself in the moment I'm at. That's
Yes.
fine. Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot of the pressure off. And I think with healthy eating, it does start off as like I'm all or nothing. I know I have that mentality all the time. I see it in my clients, I see it in my patients. You know,
Okay.
people think if I'm going to be a healthy eater, I have to be a healthy eater all the time. That's not true.
Yeah. Thank
Like
you.
anything, it is not supposed to be about perfection. It's actually supposed to be about winning most of the time. So I always say, if you can win 80% of the time, you are so doing like absolutely excellently. You
Yes.
do not have to
Yes.
win 100% of the time. No one is asking anyone else to be perfect. But
Yes.
if you set that cell like for you, you're giving your brain room
Yes.
to explore other options. And
Yes.
at the end of the day, healthy eating is not supposed to be just about, filling your body with vegetables all the time.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be a
Boring.
varied thing. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
And you're seeing that
That's
shift
true.
a lot more on like social media,
Yeah.
everywhere around you, where
Yeah.
healthy eating is meant to incorporate all of these things
Yeah.
that are out there. We're in a society where we get, everything. We have access to everything at the moment. And
Yes.
so to be sitting there and have all that
Mhm.
temptation in your face all the
Mm,
time and have to deprive yourself,
mm,
that is not healthy. It's about having
right.
a healthy relationship with food, not seeing anything as good or bad, maybe seeing things as what fits into the 80% and what fits into the 20%, and then, eating accordingly. So that's,
Yes.
I think, really, really important. And it's definitely an element of gamification because, like, people don't consider that.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, you're not looking to win all the time.
Yeah.
There are always going to be days where you're like, right now it's raining and all I want to do is sit on my couch and have hot chocolate. And I'm going to do
Yeah.
that because it's like it's wet and
Yes.
cold. So, sometimes
Yes.
even just the weather can affect what you're doing. So,
That's
I
so
think it's
true.
really, really important.
That's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that because, um, you know, and I have to get back to that again. You have to do what works for you and the importance of making it fun, not feeling like you have to deprive yourself, not feeling like, oh, well, I ate this one cookie. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I may as well just eat the whole box. No, it's about you do things I'm finding now in my journey in moderation. You may one day, you feel like you want to have that little piece of cake or something. Okay, it's okay. But don't beat yourself up. I used to do that and it made things harder for me. And then I would find myself getting stuck. So everything you're saying is so true, and it helps so much in this journey. And it's a day to day. You take one day at a time. And as you do more of the things that you love, that's helping you to get healthier and helping you to get fit, it becomes habit,
Yes.
right? It becomes habit. So and that is important. So thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. I always keep butting in. Go ahead, please
No,
continue.
no. I love your input because it's so relevant.
Thank
Like
you.
it's I 100% agree with everything you say as well. It's so great.
Thank you. Thank you so
Um
much.
The third
Yes.
one I do kind of marries what we talked about in healthy meal planning and with the gamification.
Okay.
So what we want to do is find ways to use cheat codes. And please keep in mind, not cheat meals, cheat codes. So
Mm,
cheat meals, I don't actually believe exist. If you're thinking of cheating, that means you're basically seeing as something as forbidden and you're trying to
okay.
add it back in your diet. That's not a thing. Okay. So
Okay.
cheat meals, we need to move away from that and
Okay.
start seeing cheat meals as just normal meals that fit into your 20%.
There you go.
Cheat codes are using little hacks to add nutrition to the foods that you really enjoy, but maybe not are not part of your 80%. So,
Okay.
for example, if you are someone who loves chocolate, absolutely
Okay.
loves chocolate, it's something that, you know, right now you feel like I really just don't want to cut chocolate out of my life. That's
Right.
great. That's fine. Chocolate has a lot of benefits, especially dark chocolate. It has a lot of magnesium, it has
Okay.
caffeine. It's really good for
Yes.
that afternoon slump.
Okay.
However, you don't want to have that in every meal and you don't want to have that every day potentially.
Okay.
So what you can do is instead of going for the milk chocolate, yeah, go for
Yes.
something like 100% dark chocolate, which is not sweet. It's not
No,
sweet at
it's
all.
not at all.
However, it gives you that chocolate hit. And if you combine it with something
Okay.
like ricotta or
Okay.
even like nut butter, you are going to be adding all of those chocolatey flavors to something that's really nutritious. And if you're not okay with going for 100% dark chocolate at the beginning. Because for a
Yes.
beginner, that's really hard. I tried that once and I was like, yo, this is
Yeah.
actually gross.
Ooh, I tried it too. Mm-mm.
Go for something with a high cocoa content, like 80% dark chocolate, which is
Okay.
still sweet. And then
Okay.
add that to, like I said, yogurt, ricotta, anything that is going to add a lot of nutrition in there. So a high
Okay.
protein, high fat base, high
Okay.
healthy fat base. They're really, really good in terms of um, giving you a lot of like nutritional value. But we
Yes.
just want to add something that kind of boosts a little bit, gets rid of that craving. And keep in mind,
Yes.
high healthy fats also get rid of sugar cravings, but sometimes you just want it's actually the sensation of the flavor that you want. It's not always just about the sugar craving. So you need to address all aspects of it. Add a
Okay.
little bit of that into your healthy snack, and
Yes.
that can just be like the difference because you've now found something that combines something you love that you don't
Yes.
necessarily want to give up. Not everyone wants to give up the foods they love all the
That's
time.
right. That's right.
And but you're adding so much more nutrition. So you're actually like training your body to enjoy getting more nutritional value out of it. And as you
Yes.
progress, you might find that you can tolerate like a higher level of cocoa. You can tolerate that 100% like chocolate, and
Okay.
you'll find that your taste buds change. So what we're aiming here is for your taste buds to change into something where they actually enjoy healthy eating. And I want to come back to the example you said because I actually had pizza yesterday, and
Okay.
it was a cheese pizza, and I looked at it and I was like, I just need more vegetables. It's not like my body is craving vegetables right now. So I added olives and
Yes.
I added spinach. And I just was like, oh my God, this is the best pizza in the world right now. Like
Yes.
adjusting. And
Yes.
so that's kind of, but I'm at the other end of the journey. So have trained my body to really enjoy vegetables. I really enjoy eating healthy food in
That's
general.
great.
So we're really
Yes.
like aiming to get to a point where you can still eat the foods that you like on a,
Yes.
maybe a less regular basis, but you
Mm-hmm.
also have those cravings for things that give you nutrition and give you energy. And that's what we're trying to get to.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much. You have been amazing. The tips, the little hacks, little things have been amazing, helpful, and just like ready to get on the roll. Are you guys ready? Are you guys out there ready? Because I'm ready. This has been awesome. At this moment, I just would love for you, if you have any last words, any last comments or tips that you want to share, just take this moment to share now. Um, and you have the floor. You got it.
I'm not sure if I said this last week, but
Okay.
take it slow and start small. That is my number one tip for anyone starting on a healthy eating journey, or even if you are on your healthy eating journey and you're struggling,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it slow and start small. If you can break your goal down into something that is so ridiculously laughable that you're
Yeah.
like, how could I not do this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are on a winning track. Like that's what
Yes.
you need. So
That's
that's
what I love.
definitely, yeah. And focus on getting it consistent, not getting it perfect. So we talked a
Okay.
lot about that today. We're aiming for consistency. We're not aiming for
Yes.
perfection. No one is
Yes.
perfect. Everyone is going to have days where it's not going to work. So
Yeah.
just aim for doing that's where that smallest goal comes in. If you can make like your smallest goal happen and you
Mm-hmm.
can achieve it, you're being
Yes.
consistent. That's my rule. If you say
Yes.
you're gonna do one push up or add one extra vegetable to a meal and you do that, that's
Yes.
fine. You've won that day.
Yes. That's
Count that
right.
as a win.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. This was so inspiring and just a motivational piece because it gets you motivated and ready, knowing you can do it. Especially when you make it fun. Don't make it like it's something that, is strict and certain things are restricted and this and that. It's fun and it's enjoyable, and you're making it to a point where you can only succeed if you stick with it. Consistency helps, period. So thank you so much, Sandhya. You have been amazing. I appreciate you being on the show doing this part two. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for being with us. And I hope that this has helped you as much as it has helped me. This has truly been a blessing. And you know what I always say at the end, always remember to keep looking up. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Have an amazing rest of the week. And I'll see you again on next week. Same time, same place. All right, guys, take care. Bye. This is now a time of call to salvation. If you have never accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, I invite you at this time to repeat this prayer after me. Dear Lord, I confess that I'm a sinner. I ask that you come into my heart and save me. I confess that you are Lord, and I thank you for dying on the cross for me. Thank you, Lord, for saving me. I accept you now. In Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen. Hallelujah. If you repeated that prayer, you are now saved. Continue to build your relationship with the Lord in prayer and in reading His Word. Trust and believe that God has a beautiful purpose and plan for you. Jeremiah 29:11. Be blessed and know that heaven is cheering for you as well as myself. God bless you and keep looking up. If this podcast has been a blessing to you, here are ways that you can sow into this podcast at Cash App, $ keep looking up 7, PayPal, MSLadyB2020 at Comcast.net, and also you can become a patron. Thank you in advance for your support, and always remember to keep looking up.